What is up, guys? I'm the Senator, and today we're going to be talking about how Callie is going to become much more viable with the release of Operation Steel Wave. So, I've never really been the biggest fan of Callie. I do love that we have another operator who can get past Harbridge deniers like Mute, Kaid, and Bandit, but if we're being honest, Thatcher is just so much easier and effective when it comes to getting that wall open. For instance, Callie's Lance will always destroy a thermite charge when trying to get past the Bandit trick, whereas a Thatcher EMP grenade can go off while the charge is still on the wall. And in a game where you can always expect a Bandit trick, you're just way better off picking Thatcher. However, that's not the reason Callie has never really been my favorite. The biggest reason that I've never really been the biggest fan of Callie is the low fragging potential that she has. When there's a 1v3 situation with Thatcher, I feel like Thatcher somewhat has a pretty good chance of winning that. Obviously, the odds are stacked against him, but Thatcher's weapons are strong enough to where if he works for it, he can win the round. Whereas if you look at a Thalie who's rocking a bolt-action sniper rifle, she has very low fragging potential. And yes, one shot with the rifle will put a defender down, but if you put her in a 1v3 situation, as long as the defenders don't pick her, the defense will win. And if Callie's put in a situation where she has to go in and frag out in order to save the round, she has to put away her bolt-action rifle, put out the C75 auto, and that's just a very underwhelming weapon. It fires fast and has a decent damage, but the sights on that thing are so terrible, and pretty much if you lose a gunfight against someone with the C75, you deserve to lose. And I know that Callie is an operator who's not meant to go in and drop 3+ kills every single round, but it seems as though you'd be better off picking an operator who has a similar utility as well as the potential to go in and drop 3 kills a round. However, coming in Operation Steel Wave, Callie will be getting a buff that will drastically increase her fragging potential. I feel like this is one thing that is really being slept on right now when talking about the release of Operation Steel Wave, and it's the fact that Callie will be getting the SP SMG9 as a secondary weapon. And this is the machine pistol that is available to Clash, and this is one of the best secondaries in the game in my opinion. And it's weird to look at this change, as simple as a new secondary, as something that's going to change an operator, but the addition of the SP SMG9 makes Callie a lot scarier in my opinion. And some of you who maybe haven't tried this gun may be thinking that there's no way that this can make Callie any better or worse. But the addition of the SP SMG9 completely changes the fragging potential that comes with Callie. The SP SMG9 dishes out 33 damage, which is pretty decent, but it's the fire rate on this thing that makes it so deadly. The SP SMG9 has the same fire rate as Twitch's F2 at 980 rounds per minute. And some of you think, well, yeah, that's pretty good, but you may not be impressed because it isn't as fast as other machine pistols. But the difference between this machine pistol and others like the C75 or the SMG12 is that this machine pistol has 0 horizontal recoil and extremely minimal vertical recoil. And the best way to describe it to people who never played Clash and really haven't, tried this gun, the best way to describe it is just imagine firing the F2 but with the same recoil pattern as Ash's R4C. That's exactly how this weapon feels. And the only downside of this machine pistol is the magazine capacity, which is 19+1. But to go ahead and just add a little bit more perspective into how great this machine pistol is, to those of you who have ever ran the P10 Roni that is available to Mozzie, you know that is a very strong SMG. The P10 Roni also has a fire rate of 980, same as the SP SMG9, and a mag capacity of 19+1, same as the SP SMG9. But the Roni only has 26 damage. So essentially, the SP SMG9 is just a much harder hitting P10 Roni with a better recoil pattern in my opinion. Now, the addition of the SP SMG9 to Callie won't make it to where she can just go in and drop bodies similar to an Asher or Zofia, but it does give her that potential if she's put into a situation where she has to frag out to win. And having the SP SMG9 on Callie, it feels very similar to the way that you run the shotgun in SMG11 with smoke. When you run that loadout with smoke, you pretty much just have the shotgun there for utility purposes and taking gunfights at extremely close ranges, but most of the time you're going to have that SMG11 out as your primary. You can look at Callie when she can have her bolt-action sniper rifle out for those utility purposes and extremely long ranges, and then if she has to go, frag out, she can use that SP SMG9 as her primary. And I just want to make it clear that I'm not making this video to say that Callie is better than Thatcher, because I don't think she is. The only added benefit that I can really think that a Callie adds that a Thatcher really can't do from a utility standpoint is her ability to get rid of castle barricades, completely destroy Evil Eyes. Yes, I know Thatcher's EMP can disable it, but you have to shoot it in the eye. But looking at Callie, I think she's more effective when, actually disabling the Evil Eyes. And the fact that she can get rid of Goyo and deployable shields. And while those are some pretty big added benefits, those are situations that Callie may or may not have to deal with, but you're always going to have to get that wall open, and Thatcher will always be the best way to go about destroying the Harborage Denial on the other side. And when it comes to utility clearing, you'll usually have a Sledge or an Ashe or a Zofia to get rid of the castle barricades with the Evil Eyes, Goyo shields, whatever it may be. But what I am saying is that with the increased fragment potential that's coming with Callie, banning Thatcher will become less viable moving forward. Yes, it is easier to get walls open with a Thatcher, and Callie doesn't have the most fragment potential. Banning Thatcher will not be as effective when you consider that Callie is now a lot more desirable, especially now than ever before. And I had stated that the biggest benefit that comes from picking a Callie over a Thatcher is the ability to get rid of castle barricades or Goyo shields. But another added benefit that I didn't mention is that Callie in certain situations can be a lot more oppressive than a Thatcher. And I know I've been talking about how Thatcher has more fragment potential, but there are a lot of scenarios where I am far more scared of a Callie. When defending Garage on Chalet or Consulate, or Hookah and Billiards on Coastline, those are areas where Callie can just be very oppressive to the point where you do not want to move around sight. She can see you with her 12x scope, and you can't even see her head. So not only can she hold extremely long angles that prevent defenders from moving around in sight, but with the SP-SMG-9, this will allow her to take gunfights at close range. And because of this buff that is coming to Callie, I think that there are going to be two things that will occur as a result. One thing that comes to mind is that I think this will especially be true in the higher ranks, is that there will be a less of an incentive to ban Thatcher because Callie is now a lot more viable. So I think it's possible that we could see a Thatcher ban rate go down. However, I think this will mostly be limited to the higher ranks because it takes a higher level of skill to use Callie effectively, in my opinion. Another possibility as a result of this change, and this is what I think is going to happen, is Thatcher will still continue to be banned at his current rate for obvious reasons, but we will see an increase in the pick rate of Callie. And I don't think players will be bringing a Twitch or an IQ as often for the sole purpose of getting rid of hard breach deniers like Bandit, Kaid, or Mute. And that's not me saying that I think Callie is better than a Twitch or an IQ, but I think it's easier to take out Bandit batteries or Kaid claws with one of Callie's lances than using a Twitch or an IQ. Because if IQ wants to take out a hard breach denial device, it'll take her at least a minute to drone out, make it into the building, and take out the devices by either going above or below sight. And when it comes to using Twitch, most of the time the defenders will be playing a Mute, and that makes it extremely hard to use a Twitch drone to go in and destroy hard breach denial devices. That on top of the fact that if you don't see a drone hole directly next to the wall, it can be very difficult for your drone to make it and destroy whatever gadget needs to be destroyed without it being shot by a defender. But if you look at Callie, she can get rid of hard breach denial instantaneously with a smaller risk to herself, her gadget, and will save a lot of time. So when it comes to the sole purpose of getting open a wall, which is typically why people would want to pick a Thatcher, Callie will have an increased pick rate. Again, I'm not saying IQ or Twitch is better when it comes to getting a wall open. I just think that Callie is a lot more convenient on that front. Overall, this is a change that Callie has really needed. Being limited only to taking engagements from long ranges and really only being able to hold angles with a sniper rifle does not make Callie a very versatile operator in terms of playstyle. And while yes, she has had the C75 auto, with the addition of the SP-SMG-9, Callie will be a lot more versatile when it comes to clearing defender gadgets and making it so much easier for her to frag out if that is needed. Her having a secondary weapon that is pretty much exactly the same as the P10 Roni, which is a primary weapon, and the only difference being that the SP-SMG hits harder than that primary weapon, Callie is now so much more viable now than ever before. So what do you think? Will this buff to Callie's kit change the way that you play? Will you start playing her more? Let me know down below. I want to thank you guys for sticking around to the end of the video. If you liked it, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. That way you can be notified every time I post a video. I am the Senator, and as always, Have a good one.